Oh, boys and girls, Sharks drop two in a row. It's not good. Sharks tonight fall 3-1 to the Boston Bruins, and I think we're all going to be a little bit upset tonight because the Sharks seem to have set all sorts of records, giving a guy his first three goals in or the first three three of his first four goals all scored against the Sharks. That was fantastic. It was not good. So welcome into Teal Town, USA After Dark here. Hockey Fights Cancer Night. I'm here, AJ underscore strong. We have Eric Landi. We have Jentry Alexander. But of course, we start first with Puckguy himself live from the Shark Tank. Eric, bring us the bad news.
The bad news is we lost. The good news is at least we have a complete idea of what goaltender interference is now. I mean, come on, guys. I think I feel more and more known about what and frickin' goaltender interference call is now. I feel so much relieved. It's not like it changed the momentum of the game. Oh, it did. Oh. Yes, a crowd of 17,442 were on hand this evening at the Shark Tank and looked like a pretty good start for the Sharks, although it had a little bit of a hiccup here there with the goaltender interference call. There is frustration in the arena when that was overturned, and then of course when the Bruins get their goal call, they get it called their way, and the place just went nuts. Bruins fans extremely happy, you know, waving their other number one fingers. Stay classy, Bruins fans, and the Sharks fans very loudly chanting "Ref, you suck," especially during the TV timeouts. Kind of changed the momentum of the game, especially when the Bruins got in there for 2-0 last call, although there's barely anybody here. But overall, it kind of took everything out of the wheels for the Sharks tonight, and unfortunately, that's what happens on this over and over and over again for Team Teal. It just seems like they can't help but get down on themselves when they get some bad call turned against them. They don't persevere. They just seem like they are. It's like, okay, ho hum. This is how we are. It'll be. So be it. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
Okay, well, it's as you said, 17,442. We do know that it was, in fact, Hockey Fights Cancer Night, so there was a lavender towel giveaway. Did that seem like that was close to being the actual? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you show that again, please? I didn't have
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
camera on you, so now it is. So nice towel. Uh,
Very cool towel.
so did 17,442 sound like believable or
Yeah.
okay?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it looked pretty close to believable. I mean, there were little bits of empty seats here and there, but I mean, it wasn't like the other night against Florida, or what was the last game I went to against Vancouver. It wasn't as empty as it was then. I mean, it's definitely filled up around the arena tonight. So 17,442, yeah, that's pretty spot on for a night. And of course, original six Saturday night, a special night. You hit all three things, and I think you have a good crowd on hand for the evening. So, yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I mean, dear Lord, and did the ice look as pathetic in person as it did on TV? Of course, with the Barracuda playing an early game matinee today.
It had a little more sheen to it. Oh, we'll say that, especially after they resurfaced during intermission. Um, I didn't see many people fall like we've seen in years past when they had the doubleheaders. Puck did bounce a little bit. Of course, Puck also got blocked, quicker than somebody trying to block me on dating somebody.
Hey
But
now.
but I mean, and let's talk about that, guys. I swear I saw 3 shots either from Dylan or 2 from Dylan. I think 1 from Vlasic that I knew. I was like, the second as they were whining, I was like, this is going to be blocked, and it's blocked. They definitely were peppering the Bruins goalie early, and later in the third they were posting him early. So unfortunately, they just couldn't get past by Hudobin. Oh, by the way, Hudobin, nice trip slash more like slash on Couture at the end to perfectly end the game because we all know the power play sucked tonight. So, yeah, all in all, a rough night. They get tomorrow off, and then they're back at it on Monday against Quackenheim. And man, oh man, you don't want to get into this bad habit for sure.
Yeah, I mean it was crappy ice, but of course, as they say, both teams play on the same sheet of ice, so it is what it is. Anything else before we let you go, Puck guy?
Good crowd turnout. Good to see some lavender out here. Great night all around. Yours truly was graciously picked to play the Orchard Supply Hardware. Did you know?
And did you win?
I did win. I have a $50 gift card to
for
Orchard in my hand.
For the second time in a row that I can remember.
Yes. So this time I didn't lose the card, and I'm totally ready to get some gardening hose and nuts, bolts, and screws, and maybe they have some
Or
Teal
maybe
paint.
some paintbrushes. Can everybody see the? For those of you who don't know, tonight's game they also did offer mystery pucks. Would you like to show everybody your mystery puck?
Oh shoot! I wasn't prepared for this, agent.
Uh-oh.
Hang on.
Oh, hold on. I guess he's holding it in his sock or something. I'm not sure what's going on here.
That's the one.
Oh, is that mine?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You know what? Should we just do an unwrapping on the air after we show yours?
Sure. Well,
okay.
We'll do that. I gotta know where mine is. It's somewhere in this bag, but I have rally towels for you 3 as well. Oh, I see it.
That's awesome.
Hang on.
All right, so we have rally towels, and we do have a mystery puck.
So there's that.
Oh, okay, so that is what Puck Guy has drawn, which looks to be a Joe Pavelski.
Yes. So
you
want me to do this?
I guess, okay, we're going to do live on air a mystery unraveling of my puck that I asked him to purchase for me, and if it's a Bodker or Hansen, let's be honest, it'll probably be a urinal cake soon enough. Let's see. Let's see how we did, kids. Hold on. Let's see. Joel Ward. I will take that. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Joachim Ryan. Ryan. Even better, because I already have a Joel Ward. Yes, I will take that.
Cool.
Yes. Awesome. Absolutely, Joachim Ryan.
All right. And with that, I need to get home and go to bed because I have work at 5 a.m.
All right, man. Maybe we'll see you on the ride home.
Yes. You guys take it away. Have fun. You guys be good.
All right, man. Take it easy. And F you, Gen X, for your comments about Bodker. F you. Kids, again, thanks for tuning in. Hockey Fights Cancer Night here on Teal Town, USA After Dark. Do us a favor, as always. This is a live interactive Sharks postgame show after every game. So follow us on all our social media channels. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, please. We could really appreciate it. We're only maybe about 20 away from, I think, 600 subscribers on YouTube. We're only about 25 away from 2,000 on Twitter, so we'd really appreciate it. Tell a friend, if you would. And if you really like this show, by all means, bringhockeyback.net has these fantastic T-shirts for you to go check out. So, by all means, get on the stick. Go get one. Hello, we're just around the corner from Christmas. It's a beautiful present. So, with that, boys and girls, hi. Like my jersey? So the Sharks dropped this one 3-1. Let's start off with just the post game, or I'm sorry, not the post game, the pregame. Because if you watch the pregame, oh my God, it was hysterical. And the reason why it was so hysterical is because Brody and Kyle McLaren were debating about what changes the Sharks should make to the lines because, let's be honest, the Sharks not real offensive lately, if you paying attention. And the best part was, what was it? I think it was Kyle McLaren had on the top line, I believe it was Donskoy on the wing with Pavelski centering and Couture on the other wing. Really? You're going to put Couture on the wing, a position he has played what, a handful of times as a Shark, and then you're going to put Pavelski at center, a position that he's played a handful of times over the last couple seasons. McLaren, dude, I love you and your yellow visor, buddy, but I mean, they're shaking up the lines, and then there's doing something with that. I don't know. It was very bizarre. So the Sharks dropped this one 3-1. Let's get into the first period. Pavelski to Donskoy, off Donskoy, and then it gets challenged. It gets overturned. I mean, Eric, Landi, obviously not Puckguy, but Eric, when was the last time you saw a Sharks team, if ever, have 3 consecutive goals taken away by challenges?
Well, first off, it's good to be back. If you guys are wondering where I've been, I got in a car accident, got rear-ended. My neck kind of got hit, so I'm kind of been in and out of concussion protocol and stuff like that. So anyhow, I just wanted to say it's good to be back and good to be on. Looking forward to talking Sharks. But in regards to the whole challenges and overturns and stuff like that, I mean, unless we can think back to a string of Tommy Wingles incidents, you know, I just kind of feel like, yeah, I haven't seen this. And I mean, I'm all one for puck luck, but God damn. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody on Twitter was commenting back. It's like, man, the NHL's become UFC. Or, sorry, WWE.
It was, I mean, but here's the whole thing. You look at the goal they took away against Florida, it was understandable. Both those goals, well, the first one was somewhat understandable. The second one, no, I think was BS. And if you look at the post game from the Florida game, they showed it pregame tonight that Vlasic was basically, yeah, if a puck is in the paint, I mean, holy crap, the sarcasm was just coming out of Vlasic's mouth tonight. So that's bad. But 3 in a row is, I think, unheard of. On the flip side of that, too, giving Heinen 3 of his first NHL goals, again, just ridiculous. And then, of course, you wouldn't be the Sharks, Gentry, if we don't give a rookie his very first NHL goal, which, of course, to Schlarek is what the Sharks did tonight.
I think that's like the 98th of the 99th player they've given their first career goal to.
I thought it was 95 with Hyman, and so isn't it like 97, 96?
No, but it's gone up since that.
Oh, okay.
Game.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure we gave one up in LA. I'm pretty sure we gave one up more recently than that.
I was going to say there were 8 games between the Boston games, so
yeah,
that is true.
But no, it was just like, it was just like an overall, like, everything that led up to that goal was just complete garbage. You got a lackluster effort from our $8 million Norris winning defenseman, you know, and just he let him skate by, and Dell just kind of didn't have that one pad inch, just a scotch off to the side, and he would have blocked it. But no, it was, you know, got to get get some credit. He hustled and he got to the puck first and he was able to put it in the net.
Oh, did somebody say scotch?
Yes.
Yeah.
So whenever we say scotch, somebody should take a shot of scotch.
Oh, you know what? I think I can make that happen. Yeah, this game. Let's be honest. It was
everything you needed for Sharks bingo. Disallowed goal, check. Rookie scoring the first goal, check. Losing to a backup goalie, check.
Come on.
Losing a Peter DeBoer challenge, check.
Yeah, come on. I mean, right now, Hudobin, the way he's playing, he's not the backup right now.
No, and look, he's got what, a 4-1 now record against the Sharks with a .99 goals against, and
yeah, he's not a backup.
Yeah, he's got stratospheric numbers against the Sharks, and
guess you could say he's a shark killer.
Yeah.
Maybe, and not like the Sharks aren't used to that. It's not like they haven't seen that before. So, but in this first period, again, you've got Pavs to Donskoy. It ends up getting challenged, and it ends up getting waved off. I wasn't a fan of that. I felt like that was a goal. I thought that was a bad call, but of course, I'm wearing teal tinted glasses. So, what are you going to do? But not long after that, Timo Meier puts the Sharks up at 450. And how did he do that? He got it by getting dirty in the slot, which you don't see enough from this team and haven't seen enough from this team all season. Get dirty. Some of the best goals this season have been from guys like Timo or Tomas Hertl getting down low, getting in the goalie's face rather than these ridiculous, bombs, whether it's from Heed or Burns or whoever, but these bombs from the point, they're not getting through anymore. Like other teams have figured this out, okay? So you got to get dirty. Schelerik gets the goal. It's challenged but ruled good, despite what some people might say goalie interference. It was certainly goalie interference a couple days ago, I'm just saying. And then the Sharks, of course, get a power play and essentially give up a shorty to DeBrusk just as the penalty is expiring. Burns with an awful play on that, letting DeBrusk get behind him. But give it up. Great shot by DeBrusk. I mean, absolutely snipe shot past Dell. And especially when you factor in that the Sharks were up on the shot on goal clock 17-5 in the first period. So, I mean, Landi, I mean... You look at what the hell is going on with Burns right now. I mean, that was an awful decision by him tonight. And again, he led the team in minus.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think we really have to start to question whether or not
we should put him at forward. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I think we have to kind of just question his decision making right now. And the reason why I say that is because it just seems like he's not wanting to take those same risks he took last year offensively. And I don't think it helps that he's being snake bitten really badly. I mean, shoot, he was inches from a goal tonight. Inches, 4 or 5 inches to the left, and that would have been a goal. Right? In the third period, and when they poured it on, it's just I'm actually thinking that it could be Ryan. It could be Ryan as his partner, only because he's not feeling as comfortable as if Paul Martin was there. For as good as Ryan is playing, and just as good as we've seen him play and really hold down that other point side with Burns, I just feel like maybe Burns isn't trusting him enough.
See, I don't know if that's it. I mean, Ryan has looked really good with him. Maybe Martin is the key to this, and hey, maybe we see Ryan on Monday versus Anaheim before we go on this quick little 2-game, very close roadie versus Arizona and Vegas. But I mean, Gentry, what do you do to get Burns off this? I mean, at this point, what, 17 game schneid?
I think he's just got to make better selections with his shots. It's always he was always really good with the quick release, wrist shot because he wasn't really thinking about it. And he was just kind of off of the blue line away from the boards a little bit. And that was kind of his sweet spot. Now he's hunkered more towards the boards and he's just trying for bank shots. And it doesn't seem to be working because everybody knows that, when Burns is out there, he's going to want to shoot the puck. So they've kind of figured out he's going to get that quick release off. So I think that if Burns had just a little bit more patience and maybe kind of used like him as a distraction and let other guys kind of get open, he'd be more effective. But it seems that he's just kind of going to the get the puck to shoot. And I've seen it enough from this team lately where they do these wild shots where they don't really plan it out and they're just kind of saying, hockey gods, let me score. And it doesn't seem to be working. It seems to be going, wide or it gets blocked. I think everybody has gone to the Marc-Edouard Vlasic school of getting your shots blocked at the point.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, you look at Dylan tonight, he had like 3 shots in somebody's skates. You had Burns, 2 or 3 shots just directly in the skates. I mean, I've called for this before, and I don't know what it's going to take these guys to do it, but maybe you got to start shooting high like Shea Weber. And Shea Weber is known around the league for getting, kind of hitting people's heads with the puck. But they sure as hell move out of the way when he steps into one. Maybe the Sharks have got to start doing that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not advocating for people to get hurt, but I'm also advocating for them to get shots out of the stick lanes, out of people's, skates.
Yeah, it does beg the question that maybe at this point it's the Shark style of play is nothing new. It hasn't been since we saw a significant change from Daryl Sutter to Ron Wilson. You went for Daryl Sutter, who really liked guys like Scott Thornton and Mike Ricci and Owen Nolan and Vinny Danfus, like guys that were like that played heavy versus having speed. And then you saw that shift from Daryl Sutter to Ron Wilson, where then you saw guys like Teemu Selanne and Alexander Kolyuk and Patrick Marleau. He liked a faster finesse game. And then when it shifted to McClellan, it was kind of a hybrid, a little bit of both, but he did seem to stack his lines. We heard that for the majority of the time that Todd McClellan was here, was the Sharks were a 2-line team for the most part. And where was and of course, funny enough is that tonight, the only goal that comes from the Sharks comes from the 4th line of Timo Meier from O'Regan, his first game of the season, and Joel Ward. So
let's talk about O'Regan. I mean,
yeah. I mean, go ahead. Your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, O'Regan looked really, really good tonight. I mean, he had really good chemistry with Timo. Those two have played on the Barracuda before, so
it makes you wonder why LeBanc wasn't down there instead of Ward.
Right. I mean, having those 3 together in an all Barracuda line might be really good. I mean, I don't know. You worry about O'Regan and you worry about his size. So if you put O'Regan and LeBanc together, I mean, that's kind of a smaller line, but I think in this day and age of the NHL, I think they can handle themselves pretty well. O'Regan doesn't play like he's 5'11" or 5'10". He plays like 6 foot, 6'1". I mean, he just goes in there. He wasn't afraid to mix it up with Chara, going into the boards with him. He wasn't afraid to forecheck hard. I really like the kid, and maybe give him a shot with the Joes, see what he can do up there.
Yeah, and of course the funny thing is, just real quick, Gentry. Of course, the funny thing, Gen X pointing out, wow, if only someone would have been around to warn everybody that PDB wasn't that good of a coach. Which, of course, he did as soon as the Sharks got them. But anyway, I'm sorry, Gentry, I digress. Go ahead, Gentry.
Patting his own back.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what? If you really want to do a major line shuffle and just kind of say, you're all messing up, it's time that we need to rectify. If you want to get your ice time, you need to earn it. I think you bust down Jumbo to the 4th line and you give O'Regan a shot with Pavelski and Donskoy or insert left winger here, because I think because
Incoming hot take.
Yeah, dude.
it's not,
Can,
it's
can
not
I? Can I? I'll take things that'll never happen for 500, Alex.
I'm just gonna say this is that I think that O'Regan is a more of an effective playmaker than Jumbo is right now. Jumbo is just kind of like he'll wildly it was kind of funny. Jumbo recorded 2 shots on net tonight. I was shocked. I thought everything that was going down. But I'm sitting there and I'm looking at O'Regan and I'm looking at where he's going. He's going into those areas behind the net. He's patient with the puck and he perfectly set up, Timo, for that, that net front goal. And I think that's what you need. And I think that's what Jumbo used to do until he, got paid $8 million and got really, really lazy. So I'm saying, why not just give him a shot at the top line with,
I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not buying the laziness aspect from Jumbo. I really think that his knee is just not. It's not great. That's what I'm feeling.
Then why resign him to an $8 million deal?
Well, hey, you know what?
Because you want to put butts in the seats.
Yeah, if somebody backed up a truck of $8 million to my backyard, I wouldn't be like, nope, can't take it. Sorry.
But I understand what he's saying is that, I mean, there was a lot of people that said, why would you re-sign Barry Bonds at this point? Because he doesn't play his position nearly as good as he used to. Yeah, he can still smack the hell out of the ball every once in a while, but name recognition, puts butts in the seats, surefire Hall of Famer.
Are you sure about putting butts in the seats? Because the past couple of games, it's been sparsely,
And you know what? Fantastic point. Again, tonight, not a sellout, even though hockey fights cancer, and it was the second of the first of 5 mystery puck nights. The previous one, of course, was on Thursday versus Florida, and there was a giveaway, a towel giveaway tonight, but not a sellout tonight, kids. And against a well-known Boston team. I'm not going to say original 6. I'm not going to call them that because Keith Olbermann proved that. Yes, Keith Olbermann proved that was BS a long time ago. So anyway, we'll move on with that. The Sharks in this one again, 0 for 3, which I believe, if my math is correct, makes them, in the calendar month of November, 1 for 22, possibly 1 for 23, but somewhere in there. So I'm going to say 1 for 22 and a half on the power play. 1 for, just say 1 for 22. What does that equal out? About what is that? 2.8% on the power play? Are you kidding me so far in the month of November? Funny thing, 50-50 in the circle tonight. Hits, they got out hit 30-23, but that really didn't seem to make any of a difference. The giveaway is 28-12 in favor of Boston, so that probably had a bit to do with it tonight. But shots on goal, 37-20 in favor of the Sharks, which again goes to show you quantity over quality does not always work. And for the most part, it hasn't for the Sharks. So we'll go with that. The one thing that I want to get into really quickly, we had 2 players tonight from the Boston Bruins get called for embellishment. All right. Jannik Hansen for the Sharks called for embellishment, proving, of course, that you can take the boy out of Vancouver, but you can't take the Vancouver out of the boy. And then later in the third period, you had Sean Kuraly, former Sharks draft pick, Sean Kuraly, get a penalty for embellishment. Meanwhile, Chara for the Hansen embellishment, Chara got the call for interference. I don't have it in front of me who got the opposite call for Kuraly. Either way, I'll throw it to you, Landi, first, because I know you like to spin a yarn on stuff like this. Just explain to me how you can have interference and embellishment. I'm sorry, I will never understand how you can call both of those things. It's either one or the other in my book. If you call embellishment on the guy, to me that should automatically waive the penalty from the other guy.
Yeah, I think. Okay, first off, let's zoom out one level here, and let's talk about officiating. Let's say from game, what are we, game 19 now?
Oh, here we go. No, I think we're at game 17, but go ahead.
Game 17. So it seemed about game 13, 14, we had this big shift from let's call everything. Let's call a hook to the hands. Let's call a small chop. Let's call this holding, clutching, grabbing. Let's call everything to the nth degree and have 5 power plays per team per game. And now we've shifted way onto the other side of the pendulum. And now we're talking about 2 penalties per game per team, if that. And of those penalties, you're going to have maybe 1 or 2 that offset each other, going to 4-on-4. I just don't know where the NHL mandate comes from to say, in the first part of the season, call everything. After X amount of games, start laxing it. I don't understand where that directive comes from. I don't understand why it is a directive, if it even is. And if not, why there's such a discrepancy from officiating staff to officiating staff. I mean, these guys go through combines. These guys go through meetings. And they learn what the definitions of each of these penalties are. There should not be this big of a discrepancy.
You know what, though? There shouldn't be. But then again, if you, and of course, Gen X is going to have a freaking meltdown in the chat. But you see the same thing, though, just, trying to throw a comparison out there. You see the same thing in baseball where guys like Billy West or Angel Hernandez are known.
The strike zones. Yeah,
either their strike zones or, especially when they're at first base, their calls are horrible. How they are still in the positions that they're in is amazing. And you can go back a few years. I remember guys like Brad Watson was known for being one of the, if you looked at the record that the Sharks had when Brad Watson was a referee, it was abysmal. It was abhorrent. It was shockingly bad. And you go and look at the calls. Yeah, and you look at the calls that he made and you just go, the fuck, bro? Like, you can't even understand it. So either way, I'm just tell me these last 3 challenged, these last 3 goals that were challenged and taken away, Landi. First, you tell me how each one of those are taken away and whether they should or should not have been a goal, and then Jentry can follow that up.
Okay. The first goal, where Donskoy allegedly punches the puck in. On the ice...
Now, you're talking tonight from Pavelski.
Tonight from Pavelski. So that original goal, the first goal that kicked it off, was a minute into the game. I don't know what the original call on the ice was. I believe it was called a goal. And if it's called a goal, okay, so be it. Then the Bruins challenge that call. They say, okay, we want to challenge this for goalie interference. It goes to Toronto. They go through it, look at it through numerous amounts of angles. The referee, the officiating crew comes back and says, this goal was deemed goalie interference, no goal. Or actually, so, not goalie interference, it's puck gloved in, no goal. Now, I thought the rule was that the challenge could only look at goaltender interference, and any other calls besides that could not be taken into account. So, for instance, let's say there was a foot in the crease, somebody kicked in the goal, they called it a goal on the ice, but now they're challenging for goaltender interference. They can't take that goal away because of a foot in the crease or a kicking motion. They can get rid of it because of goaltender interference, sure, but they can't get rid of it because of some other extenuating circumstance. That's what I want to know, why the goal was taken away if it was called a goal at the first place.
Yes. And hold on, and in the chat, real quick.
Gen X, there was a challenge on Donskoy's goal. That was initiated by the Bruins.
Yeah, okay, that's what I wanted to go on to, is that, they initially ruled it as Pavs, and when they were reviewing it, they said, oh, this will be Donskoy's, and ended up overturning. Gen X, I've given you the Hangout link. If you want to come in and join and explain yourself, go ahead. I dare you. Gentry, how did you see the Donskoy call?
My thing was that there was a similar situation where I really didn't see the puck really get batted in with Donskoy's hand. It kind of trickled on his arm, and then I think Donskoy was trying to avoid a hit or trying to avoid hitting Goldobin or Godolbin, whatever, however you say his name. So many dins. And it kind of just trickled off of his arm, rolled off, and then it went in. And I'm just like, how? That's not a distinct trying to knock down the pucking motion to me. It's not like, he didn't even notice that the puck was on him. He was trying to get distance between him and the goaltender. But when they ruled it that it was, touched by that it was punched in, so it was no goal, I kind of just sat there and I was like, okay, it's going to be one of those games. But I don't think that there was any, there was no clear evidence. I think it was just a, is that a goal? Yep. Nope. But it's the Sharks, so we're going to say no.
You know what, though? It's so funny for the longest time, and again, I hate to make the comparison to the NFL, but if you go back in, I think it was like the early 2000s or something, there was actually a website called bringbackreplay.com or bringback NFL, whatever it was. And literally whoever this person was, they had red zone or not center, a Sunday ticket, and they would just DVR everything, and they would screenshot all the times that the refs screwed up. And of course, a lot of it, when you screw up in a game when it's 41-10, probably not that big of a deal. But there have been times where they have screwed up when we can all go back to the Seattle-Green Bay Monday night game where there's literally a picture of two referees and one is saying touchdown and the other one saying no. So at this point, let me just ask both of you guys. Between the thing with the offside, like we saw the other night with Tim Heed, this much, that puck coming outside. Oh my God. Was it, definitively, was he offside? Yes, he was. I hate to admit it, he was. But it was called a goal. But we've seen it so many times where it interrupts the flow of the game. Landi, do you think replay is more trouble than it's worth?
I've kind of had this debate back and forth, and I feel like let's for instance, let's say if there was an offsides and there was a goal that was scored 30 seconds later and was not a direct, was not directly impacted by the offsides, there should be a statute of limitations for that. If it's past 15 seconds or 30 seconds and hasn't impacted play, they should just let that go.
That's a decent point. I like that.
That to me is the one that's the pisser. The one,
especially if you have possession for 45 seconds.
Right, exactly. And the intent of that, or the spirit of that rule, was to get rid of that one horrible Matt Duchene goal against the Predators that they really just fucked up. And and that was what that was put in there for. And it was really just to kind of save the butts of the referees. Has it done more damage than it's done good? At this point, the way that it breaks up the flow of the game, I don't like it. I think that it needs to be instituted like in the other major sports where you have a time limit. You got 30 seconds or a minute to look at this footage. If you can't come up with a reasonable and distinct call within that time,
then you go with what was called on the ice.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Gentry, your take?
I do feel like it interrupts the flow of the game because, especially as a Sharks fan, everything seems to go against us anyway. This is just me putting on my teal foil hat. But yeah, I just because like everything like that seems to be like okay, goaltender interference. So goaltender interference that we saw a couple nights ago, as opposed to goaltender interference in Game 6 against LA, where
Or
literally
goaltender interference against the Predators.
yeah, exactly. It seems to just be they say if like the language is there, but it just seems that the refs or Toronto just kind of goes with, we need to keep it exciting, so let's go for the drama of it all, which is crappy. Either call it as it's clearly defined in the rule book, or just get rid of the rule entirely if you're not going to enforce it. Because I think that I still don't have any clear definition according to what's been laid out as to what is goaltender interference, because it still comes to the point where it's like, okay, so that's goaltender interference, but then how was this at this other game called?
It's subjective. It's purely subjective at this point. One refereeing.
What is embellishing? What is being tripped? What is a hook and all that? It's like, I don't know. Getting clotheslined by Chara, that's not embellishing. That's getting clotheslined. How is that embellishing? If I got clotheslined by Chara, I'd be doing worse things than just kind of falling to the ice.
Well, see, and that's the funny thing is that it makes you, it kind of makes you root for that. You would hope that at some point they make the, I guess when they do a double call like that, where it's like, okay, Chara's going to get 2 for interference, but Hansen's going to get 2 for embellishment. I think that should be challengeable. Like, if you're going to make all these things challengeable, and if you're going to say that, 2 things can be true, that he did interfere with him, but he also embellished it. No, it's one or the other. And when you have these one or the other calls, make it challengeable. Make the officials, if you're going to have these ridiculous, skating where the refs are skating to review, if you're going to have these ridiculous reviews, make those reviewable. Make the officials go over there and look at their silly little tablet and go, okay.
Well, hey, it's better than that Nintendo 3DS that they had.
No, I get you. I get you on that. But make the officials go over there and make a decision. Make them look at the replay and say, okay, did he actually embellish, or was there actually interference? One of the, make the call, or you do, a 2-4 thing where if you want to call both people, that's fine. Then say, okay, Chara gets 4 minutes for interference and Hansen gets 2 minutes for embellishment, or vice versa. But either way, you delineate the two. You get, 2 things. I'm sorry, with this, 2 things cannot be true at the same time. They just can't.
Right. I mean, like, embellishment on a trip makes sense. Because you can embellish a trip. Embellishment on a chop.
But hold on. But I still go back. No. But I still go back. Was it still a trip?
I see where your point is. I see where you're getting at that. But
now. But if that was so, okay, let's go back to tripping and stuff like that. So if they're saying that it was not goaltender interference again, with the, for the goal that was scored for Boston, because apparently Joakim Ryan tripped up the forward as he was advancing towards the net, so he inadvertently, led to that. But the Sharks touched the puck beforehand. So if it was a trip, why wasn't the play called dead right then and there? As opposed to just, we're going to allow it, the play to go on and it's going to be a goal. But then when they review it, it's like, he got tripped up. It's like, no, then it should have been called dead right then and there, and it should have been a power play for Boston as opposed to just an easy goal, because the Sharks touched the puck before it got before they got scored on. So either make it, either do what's fair, or just call the play dead and give them a power play. Don't give them a goal just because it's like, well, that's goaltender interference. So it's like, okay.
Well, and you even look at the. I mean, it's so funny that we played Boston tonight. You look, and of course, I'm going to say Boston like Boston, but of course, we played Boston tonight. And you look at it 3 weeks ago, Khudobin literally knocks the net off nothing called. Literally slides into it, knocks the net off its moorings. Nobody called anything. And then, of course, when you look back on it, not only, well, because of when it happened, it was less than 2 minutes left in the game. If you, according to the rule book, that's not a power play for the other team. That was a penalty shot. The Sharks should have had a penalty shot in that game, and they got nothing. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, that's the thing that pisses me off about replay. It's like, okay, we're going to make this reviewable and this reviewable. Well, we're not going to make this review. No, it's all or nothing, guys. All or nothing. Because it's just so silly with some of this stuff. So, and of course, I'm going to get fired up about what happened with Khudobin 3 weeks ago because it was so blatant. It was Marty Turco was watching that game going, oh, that was beautiful. I wish I could have done that in my, time in Dallas. But anyway, we should move on. We're getting late.
I want to
go ahead.
Yeah, I want to quickly I want to quickly address something.
And as he's addressing that, boys and girls in the chat, start putting your questions in there if you have anything for us. I'm sorry, Landi, go ahead.
Yeah, so Gen X is saying that this was initiated by video review. It was not a coach's challenge. Yet I'm reviewing the footage on NHL.tv at 12 minutes into the game. And
jump on Gen X, defend yourself.
It clearly says coach's challenge on the bottom ribbon. Randy clearly states it was a coach's challenge that was initiated by Boston. Now look, maybe the video review, maybe Boston said, "Oh, I want to challenge this," and then during that time in between, maybe Toronto said, "Oh, well, maybe we should review the whole thing." But that is against the spirit of the challenge. Because you can only challenge goaltender interference. You can't challenge if it's knocked in with the glove.
Again, it takes me back to make it, challenge everything or challenge nothing.
Exactly, AJ.
Anthony Morris, as far as I know, on Untapped, I'm at AJ_strong, just like Twitter, just like Instagram. So let's move around. I think and Gen X saying the TV broadcast got it right. God damn it, AJ. God damn it, Gen X. I gave you the join link, you mother. I don't want to put into the cuss jar this week. I'm just saying. I'm trying to keep it professional a little bit. Hockey fights cancer. Trying to keep it professional.
Hey, and I have a conky, so that's my excuse.
There you go. Trying to keep it professional, kids. Let's do a little bit of around the league and just really fun. Really, really, really fun. The 2019 Winter Classic was evidently announced. And guess who's involved in it? Well, that would be the Boston Bruins, who you saw tonight, and of course, the Chicago Blackhawks, where somebody put it up on Twitter. I wish I had it in front of me, but it was a fantastic tweet where they just essentially said, when do we get to the point where they stop calling it the Winter Classic and they just start calling it
the Blackhawks Classic?
Yeah, well, no. They said, when do we stop calling it the Winter Classic and just start referring to it as the Chicago Hockey Invitational? I mean, seriously, can we just stop? You think about it, it's like, who would be good for a Winter Classic? It's like, I can name like 3 off the top of my head, like Winnipeg, Minnesota, who was the other one? Columbus. Hello. I mean, there are other teams. And of course, it's all for ratings. Chicago is the number 3rd, media market in the country. I get that. But Jesus Christ, there's a reason why we refer to the Metro division as the NBC division. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I've had it. But anyway, let's.
Well, I mean, like let's quickly talk about that. Wouldn't it be awesome to see the Sharks and the Kings at AT&T Park for a Winter Classic?
Never gonna happen. The Raiders go down.
Yeah,
and besides,
because when do they have to play that game? They'd have to play that game at 6 o'clock here, which would be 9 on the East Coast, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and then everybody would be too tired to go. It's like the Sharks won't get a Winter Classic until they fold and move to Houston,
or like maybe a Sharks have a Winter Classic East and a Winter Classic West. I mean, I know that's what they were trying to do with the Stadium Series, but those are kind of half-baked, and they're kind of gimmicky.
No, I totally agree with you. I think they should shit-can the... Oh, dollar in the jar. I think they should totally garbage the Stadium Series thing. It was a great gimmick thing that they did for a while. You know what? You do 3 Winter Classics. You do a All-Canadian one, where it's...
Heritage Classic.
There you go. Vancouver versus Toronto, whatever. You do, and then you just do 2 Winter Classics, whether it's like one at Christmas or one, the day before, I guess the day after Christmas, and then one on New Year's Day, whatever. You fit it in there, around the end of December, beginning of January, and maybe you do that. Maybe you do an East-West Winter Classic on the same day. You know what I mean?
Normally they have 2 games on Black Friday, right? Or 2 games on New Year's. It's Winter Classic and then a West Coast game, and the Sharks have been a part of that.
Yeah, do 2 Winter Classics. Do a East Coast and a West Coast. There you go.
But that requires so much effort from NBC. That requires
F you.
And dear God, that getting them started on time if they were back to back.
Oh crap! Here we go. All right. And so Landi has invoked the whole starting NBC games off on time when it comes to doubleheaders. So with that, we shall move to around the NHL. And so as it stands tonight. The Calgary Flames beat the Flyers in overtime, 5-4. Monahan gets a hat trick, so F you Monahan haters. I'm just saying. The Dallas Stars hangs a 6-3 win on top of the Oilers. What in the hell happened to the Oilers this season? I mean, this is when was the last time you saw a team that just was totally trending in the right direction, knocked the Sharks out last year in 6 games. I mean, looked like a real good contender. A lot of people picking them to win the Pacific this season, and they've been absolutely horrible, and there really wasn't much turnover or any type of attrition in their roster from last season. It's been very bizarre. Start getting your, when Teal... Or Todd McClellan, start putting together your pools on when he gets fired, kids. I mean, I just don't even understand this. The Coyotes.
Hey, you know what?
Go ahead.
It's almost like they could have used a really good left winger that they traded for a really subpar defenseman. Oh my God, Peter Chiarelli, you're so smart. Gold star for you.
And talking about a team that was trending in the right direction, thought would be a contender in the West and go all the way to the Stanley Cup final again, let's talk about the 16-17 San Jose Sharks.
Hey now. Yeah, not so bad. The Arizona Coyotes gets the 3-2 victory in overtime versus the Senators. This was a really funny one because Duclair was the only one who scored for the Coyotes. Got one in the first, got one in the third, and got the overtime winner. That's just awesome. I would have hoped he was the first star in that. I haven't checked, but I'm thinking he probably was. The Winnipeg Jets, 5-2 over the Devils. Nothing too significant over that, with the exception of just the fact that the Devils were, killing it earlier and have kind of trained it a little bit down. The hated LA Kings get a 4-0 shutout over the Panthers, and I'm sure everybody's going to be pissed off about that. If you're a Sharks fan, of course, since after when you looked at Panthers shut out the Sharks just a couple days ago, and of course in this one, Reimer is the one who takes it on the chin. Oy. The Carolina Hurricanes get a 3-1 victory over the Sabres. The Maple Leafs, in the return of Austin Matthews, shut out the Canadiens for, if I read correctly, only the fourth or fifth time in history. I'm sure Gen X will be on here in about 10 seconds to tell you exactly, how many times it was, but it wasn't a whole lot. But anyway, the Maple Leafs, when you consider the history, Maple Leafs 6-0 shutout over the Canadiens. The Islanders get a 5-3 victory over the the Lightning, who have just been tearing it the hell up. So that's a little, I don't know. It's not a lot. It's not very often you see Tomas. I'm going to say Tomas. I'm not going to say Thomas. I'm going to say Tomas Greiss getting a victory over a hot team. But anyway, Islanders 5-3 over the Lightning. Blackhawks 2-1 over the Pens. Capitals take a 3-1 victory over the Wild. Predators 5-2 over the Avs. Hello, Rocket. Hope that was a fun game to watch. Blues 4-3 over the Canucks in overtime. And then, of course, the Bruins 3-1 over the Sharks. That part sucked. So I think with that, we just might be done unless there's anything, Landi, that is kind of, I don't know, hockey related that you would like to speak about. I mean, anything happen in the hockey world over the last 2 days that you're like, oh, that's funny, a trade or anything?
Not really. I mean, I think we're still kind of in that really weird period that's, before Thanksgiving. We don't know what teams are in or out, so we're kind of trying to figure out
if the playoffs started today.
Right. But we're just trying to figure out who's going to be the buyers and who's going to be the sellers. And
Arizona sellers.
Well, yeah. I just think that the Sharks kind of are middling around right now. And it's interesting because Kevin Kurz came up with something saying, they're not a winger away from being better. This is a systematic issue. And I tend to agree with Kurz.
I absolutely do. And didn't I still don't know that anybody's put it in stone. Is this the end? Is this year the end of PDB's contract, or is it next year?
No, it was only a 3-year deal that he got.
See, and I've heard from other people it was a 4-year.
It was only 3 because I remember it was something similar to what Todd McClellan had. But they only gave him a 3-year deal. But the thing is that with PDB, he's kind of already worn out his welcome. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks continue to just get worse and worse as the season goes on. They'll
promote Rob Zettler.
Oh God, no! They'll probably bring in Dan Bell.
Steve Spott.
Oh Jesus Christ!
If he is still on this team, I'm going to Vegas.
All right, Landi, you were saying?
No, so it's just at this point, Peter DeBoer's got to open it up. It's got to open the style play up a little bit.
But how does he open it up? I mean, he's had the line blender in full effect since 3 games into the season. I mean, how much more can he do?
Let him start cheating. I mean, let fly a guy high in the zone to break him out, like a la Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, but see, I think the whole thing, and Gen X, hello, I've given you the link. I think PDB, he's just, and I mean, how much have we seen this from other coaches in the NHL? They're set in stone in their, they wake up, they drop a deuce, they have their coffee, they grab their muffin, and they leave.
They power play.
Yeah, but it's all based on routine. If they have their muffin before they drop their deuce, it ruins their whole day. And maybe that's the deal with PDB, that
what I think it was? That I think this season PDB has been taking a shower and then taking a dump, which is like a big no-no. You just that button on your entire day when that happens.
When do we get to the point where Roy Sommer gets the call?
Oh God!
Do you want Eric to have a hernia?
No, I want Eric to be able to grow an actual mustache. That's what I want. I think that's what we all pray for.
It's not happening. He's got the Timo Meyer thing going on.
Or the Logan Couture Predator stash.
Oh, Predo stash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. So anyway, I think if we don't have anything else to talk about with tonight's game or around the league, then of course we move on. Anaheim comes to town. If you remember, just a short hot minute ago, Sharks. I know it was overtime. Did we beat or did we lose or win? I can't remember.
I thought it was in the shootout.
Yeah, we won.
It was. Oh yeah, we won. Yeah. Because it was that beautiful Donskoy dangle in the 7th round.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
He dangled the shit out of.
Yeah, because that was the thing that. Yeah. Okay. That was now it's all coming back to me because that was that ridiculous game where the Ducks pretty much controlled play for the first 2 periods. The Sharks got their act together and sent it to shootout. And the best part was it was like Pavelski was the first shooter, Couture's the second shooter, which all makes sense. Third shooter was Heat, and you went, wait, what? And then the 4th shooter was Burns. The 5th shooter was like LeBanc, and you're like, what the hell? And then finally Donskoy, who should have been the 3rd shooter. And then he dangles, puts it in. As Rocket would say, dangles goalies like they're spent. So we'll see what happens with the Ducks. I mean, the Ducks clearly are not doing anything close to. I mean, well, look at the whole entire Pacific Division. I mean, no,
mediocrity.
Well, the whole idea of just like raise your hand if you thought that. Oh yeah, going into Thanksgiving. Las Vegas totally be like right up there, or Los Angeles. Oh yeah, they'll totally be leading everything in the Pacific because I mean right now L.A. 26 points, Vegas 23 points. And by the way, over the last 2 days, Calgary and Vancouver have both leapfrogged the Sharks. Just a few days ago, a hot minute ago, San Jose was 3rd in the Pacific. They have now dropped down to 5th. And don't tell me this Anaheim game isn't huge because right now Anaheim has 19 points to the Sharks 20. Huge game. The amazing amount of mediocrity that is happening in the Pacific right now is staggering. So with that, do us a favor. I don't know where the button is. I think it's like probably right down.
You got
there.
It right there. Right.
Yeah, I think it's right over here. There should be a button that says subscribe, and right next to it is probably a little button that says notifications or whatever. So do us a favor, help us out. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. It's a cast of characters every time. It's not always just us 3 idiots. We have 3 or 4 other idiots that come on too. So by all means, follow us. Get the subscription button going. Get your notifications button. And follow us at Teal Town USA. Of course, we have the website, tealtownusa.com. You can find articles that we post there from time to time. And at some point, I think we're going to do a fappening where we're just going to like hijack hockey players. Who is Carrie Fisher is probably the first one that we're going to go after, right? Because she was, with Mike Fisher. So we're going to have those photos for you at some point, kids. So follow tealtownusa.com. So follow us on Twitter at tealtownusa. Subscribe to the YouTube page, if you will. And other than that, hey, thanks for watching. We will see you after Anaheim Monday night. Forget Monday Night Football. Nobody cares about Monday Night Football. Monday night, Anaheim versus the Sharks. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. What's the tag? I always forget it. Keep it. Stay teal. Stay real. Stay real teal. Good night, guys.